Hi, this is Dawn from Embracing Our Life. Today is going to be a work on shop stuff today. So I have no extra kids that I'm babysitting, and as much as I thought about going to work out in the garden, I feel like my motivation is lining up with my energy, and I want to tackle a big project. So we have two buildings on our property that we're trying to turn into a shop. One has finally kind of gotten there, and the other one is going to take a couple more years. But we have two home businesses that I run from here. One is redesigning home decor. It's called the Montanelli Farmhouse, and the other one is called Modesty and Grace, and it's redesigning modest clothing. And so we have a shed in a garage that we would love to have as somewhat like a storefront, but not open on a regular basis. We love to be able to have open houses here and just have it open by appointment, and just have a nice place that we can put our stock, so that when we want to do craft events and vendor fairs, that we can bring our stock and put it back out there and still be able to tell our customers that there's a place they can come and shop. And so that is going to be one of my goals for today. I also have mango butter going in the crock pot in the kitchen, and I have another batch that I need to do. That's probably going to be ready to can this afternoon. Laundry, of course, is going. Dishes have already been started, and so I think taking advantage of this cool weather and hauling a bunch of stuff around different places of the yard for the shop would make me feel very, very productive. So I'm going to bring you along, and I'm going to warn you. I'm a little embarrassed taking you out there, but you know, this is our life, and with anything that God has called us to do, He will equip us to do it, but His timing is not always in our timing, and sometimes it takes a few years, if not more, to get to the place where your dreams are a reality. And so for our family, we're just taking it one step at a time, and 1 year at a time. And so right now we have a very full 2.5 car garage that is not going to be ready as a shop probably for 2 more years. But we have a shed that is pretty much there. But our problem right now is we're trying to organize our stock into another place of our property, another little shed that we have, so that it's easy for me to get to. The winter seems to be the time when I'm not as easily distracted. I'm still working on a list of things to do. There's always a list of things to do, but being able to focus more on inside stuff gives me the opportunity to focus on stocking Modesty and Grace, especially our clothing line, and also some of the Montanelli stuff. So I want to have that stuff in a place that's easy for me to get to. As you will see, if I feel like I want to show you, the garage is really full, and it's really hard to get into when I want to get stuff out. So we're taking a shed on our property that has other stock in it, and we're going to put just Modesty and Grace in there. Now, Modesty and Grace consists of bins full of different clothing that I have picked up that I have to redesign, material that I need for the clothing shop, or any other things like for making aprons or bonnets or doilies. Those all go in bins to keep them from staying in good condition and when they're stored in the garage and outside buildings. And so right now, I think my job today is to haul my stack of bins that are in the garage out, so that we can eventually clear out the one shed that we want to put all of Modesty and Grace in. And so that shed will just be where I can go and get my fabric and get my certain bins for certain clothes, and then bring them in and work on a bin a week or a bin every couple weeks, and be able to have a system that I can rotate in and out. And so that is going to be my goal today. It's a big feat. I started moving some this morning, and I feel like my count was at 50 some bins. So my goal is to just move them out of the garage, and then we're going to stick them in the shed. I'll show you out there. We're going to stick them in the shed for right now, because then we need to take everything in the other shed, which we call a barn shed. It looks like a little barn. So we need to take everything out of there and put it in the spot where the bins were in the garage. So anyway, we're kind of in this transition stage, but I'm motivated and I have energy, and it's a very nice day out. So come along with me as I show you a little bit inside this little dream of mine. This is the 2.5 car garage that we have that we want to eventually turn into a We did like a little brick paved area. A few years ago, my sister and I came and we took the garage doors off and added these. and so we're gonna get some metal letters and hang a sign. But this is kind of what we're working on today. And then the little side entrance where my son is working on, this would go into the garage as well once it is all set up. So I will show you. It is pretty full, and eventually this will become something. We have a lot of goals for this place. We already have some walls up as dividers. Our goal is to take this ceiling down and make it open like that one is, and hang some lights. And so there's a lot of work that needs to be done, but I'm being real with you. This is our life. This is the ugly side of a really pretty business. One day it's going to be really pretty and beautiful, but everything that becomes beautiful at some point has to be ugly in order to get there. So these are the bins that I'm working on moving now, and then there's a few bins tucked in here, and then we'll have to bring everybody out at some point and get some of this all organized. The boxes all get broken down for the garden space. And then I'll show you over here is where my stack of bins are that I took out this morning. And so I think I brought out 25. And then the idea is this barn shed back here. Well, we call them a shed. I know I've said shed like 25 times in this video, but this is why we name our sheds on our property, because we have a lot. So this is called Barn Shed 1 and this is called Barn Shed 2. Obviously they look really like little barns, but this is the idea, is to clear this barn shed out, and it has quite a bit of stuff in it. And so this will end up becoming the Modesty and Grace barn, and all of this, most of this, is Modesty and Grace stock, but it is furniture that needs repurposed or salvage stuff that needs redesigned. A lot of these fencing and bins end up going for animals that we have. So this will have to be all cleared out so that all my bins can be stacked in there. But today, again, you have to take it one step at a time, because if not, it can really overwhelm you. I've been there, and I still get there very easily. So today we're just taking the bins out of that spot in the garage, and then the spot in the garage where all the bins are is where all that stuff from that barn shed I just showed you will have to end up organized. And we're going to put it in this shed. I'll step back and show you. This is what we call the shop right now, or the shop shed right now. So this is what we worked on last year. We actually have our sign over here, so people who do come and visit, they can kind of tell where the business is, but we always just walk them out here, usually when they show up. Anyway, so now we just finished a graduation ceremony and open house for my oldest daughter, so a lot of that stuff is still in here, and it hasn't quite been reset up, but this is what our little shed looks like. And we just moved this china cabinet in here from the kitchen, so I have to put it back on it in shelves. That's going to hold some of our party platters and dishes that we use for events. But this is what the shop shed looks like. Again, don't mind the bins of dishes from the china cabinet and some of the stuff from the open house that we haven't quite put away. These are giant chalkboards we made for her event. And then we have Modesty and Grace stuff in here, and then we have some hung up back there too. So we're going to end up sticking all of those bins from the garage in this spot right here. And as much as I just love the way this looks right now and how cleaned up it is, I need a place to kind of transition things as a holding place so that I can get that other barn shed cleaned out, and then everything, all the bins can go in there. So these are, a lot of these things are on Etsy. I do photography also on the side, so a lot of like the sofa and some other backdrops are stored out here, and props and things. So anyway, that's what the plan is for at least the next little bit. set you down, and yeah. All the bins are out of the garage, except for like, I think 3 or 4 that I've got to get my son to help me with. But I believe I have got my cardio in for the day. I am going to go take a break, and then hopefully recruit some help that can help me take those all in there and stack them up. But I will show you the gap that we made. It's a pretty good gap. See, we had the dividers up a while back when this was first cleaned out. We didn't have this much stock, and we kind of did dividers. And then over in that area, it's hard to see, but that'll be the checkout area, and we have an awning to hang up there. But we're hoping, like I said, to rip this ceiling out. This is the area where a lot of that stuff in that barn shed's going to go. We have to do some major organization over here just so that we can get in and get in and out of that door and get in and out of this door if we need anything. But I'll show you. You can kind of see the other side. Again, it's pretty full, but this is just kind of where we're at right now. But I want to rip the ceiling all out because it's a pretty high ceiling, and if we can rip and clear all this out on both sides, we can hang some lights up in there, rip this wood out, and be able to have it look very kind of industrial farmhouse-ish. This is a lot of stock that we have, and then there's an opening that goes to the entrance, and then on the other side here, which you can't see, it's another opening like this, because there's a whole other section of the garage that we have the mowers and the bins in, but we kind of, we did this up a while back. But the idea was that that whole side would be another part of the shop. But it's going to take a little while to get there. So hopefully, Lord willing, He can give us the strength, and we can be able to plug along and make this become something in the next couple of years. So, well, I am off to get something cold to drink and to cool off, and I will see you in a little bit.